It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of May 17th, 1996. We actually get a little bit of a break this week. We only have two movies to look at, and one of them I have seen, the other I haven't, so this should be a quick one here. So let's get right to it. Let's start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, which really isn't saying a whole lot, judging by the movement I made with my fingers. That is, of course, Paul Hogan and Elijah Wood in Flipper.
It's a summertime affair. Oh yes.
Sandy's been sent to spend the summer with his uncle, but there are a few problems.
Well, you know what they say. You choose your friends, can't choose your relatives.
The accommodations bite.
There you go.
The food is unusual.
You want your spaghettios with or without?
Without what?
Kiwi Franks.
And there's not a friend in sight.
There's gotta be some mistake. You cannot be my uncle.
Until today.
Cool.
What's his name?
His name is Flipper.
Now Sandy's finally met his match.
Jump!
Awesome.
Yeah.
And together, they're about to discover just how deep a friendship can be.
You can't keep a dolphin. You either take him.
Can't do that. He's used to being fed. He's right. I mean, the animal probably can't fend for itself anymore.
You see where that dolphin went? They got Flipper. What are you doing? Hey.
You see, this animal means something to the kid. How to teach you a lesson. I have a thirst for knowledge. Teach me.
From Universal Pictures, America's favorite dolphin, Flipper. Paul Hogan.
Sandy, a man should never hurl in front of his woman.
Thanks.
Elijah Wood.
Don't ask me how he does it, kid. Even I can't explain it.
And Flipper. In an incredible adventure that will blow you out of the water. Flipper.
So this film is basically a remake of the original TV series, as well as the film that spawned the TV series back in the 1960s. There was actually a TV show that came out in the 90s, that came out around the time this movie came out, that is unrelated to it, and I think was one of the contributing factors to this movie not becoming a big hit. One of the other contributing factors I think it is that it's just not really all that interesting of a film. I mean, there are definitely pieces there that actually could be pretty interesting and fun. I mean, Paul Hogan, a chance for him to get back after a couple of years where he'd been kind of laying it low. He hadn't had a big success since the Crocodile Dundee movies, and he sporadically had these opportunities to come back and try to get his name known again. Most of the movies he did after Crocodile Dundee weren't big successes. I mean, Almost an Angel wasn't a bad movie, but it was largely forgettable. Wagons East. Is that the name of it? Or I'm thinking... no, I'm thinking of Lightning Jack. Wagons East is the one with John Candy. Lightning Jack was not a big success, and this one, unfortunately, was not a big success either. Not because of him. He's actually doing a pretty good job in this movie. Elijah Wood kind of starts off a little bit rocky. He starts off a 2-1-no. Like, you see like, you see a little bit in the trailer there, like, his first reaction to Flipper, and he just goes, cool. Like, he's trying to pretend like he's excited. He's a little bit interested in this, but he's just kind of like, just playing it one note. But I will say, as the movie goes on, he does get a little bit better. It's got a pretty good cast overall here, besides the two of them. You've got Isaac Hayes in here, Jonathan Banks, Chelsea Field, some notable names in here. But other than that, though, the movie is just kind of mediocre, honestly. It felt like Universal saw the success of Free Willy and said, we want our own Free Willy, so what's the next best thing? Let's do a remake of Flipper. Why not? I mean... And it also kind of doesn't help that the director of this is not really well known. He's mostly known for writing mostly TV work. The writer and director, I should say. He wrote and directed this. And I feel like you needed to get somebody who really understood kind of the source material to make kind of a fun movie. It could have been something on the same level as something like Lassie from a couple years earlier, which was a surprisingly really enjoyable film and actually stayed true to what Lassie was. This movie kind of stays true to Flipper, but... I think it just came out at a time when people just really weren't interested in a film of this like this. Even kids, I think, weren't really all that invested in Flipper, honestly, even though I think Nickelodeon was still airing the old Flipper TV series at this point. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I know it was on during the early 90s. But, yeah, the movie itself just really isn't all that memorable, honestly. And I feel like that most people kind of turned it away because it did feel like Universal was trying to cash in on the success of Free Willy, and so they said, let's just do a movie based on another popular series is about an animal that's in the ocean, a dolphin. That's what I'm trying to say here. In Flipper, but yeah, I don't think it really sold on a lot of people. And it's not that it's a bad movie per se. It's just not an investing movie. It's not a movie that makes you excited to watch it or anything. This is kind of just something that you put on TV once on a Saturday afternoon when you're babysitting kids and just let the movie play. Kids end up enjoying it, and you just come out of it going, hey, it shut my kids up for a couple of hours. And a movie like that I don't think really does work very well here. I don't know what really you could have done to make it a whole lot better, honestly, but I will say that it's a tolerable movie, but it's just one that's so bland and so forgettable that honestly you won't remember it once you actually are finished watching it. Honestly, it's a film that just kind of goes. You watch it, it's kind of like vapor through your body. It just goes through your ears and one ear, not the other, and it just doesn't really work. It's a film that has a lot of ambition to it, a lot of promise to it, but it just never delivers on it. And for me personally, I just didn't think it worked that well enough to really have lasting longevity to it. It's a piece of 90s fluff, honestly. It's a film that's just kind of like, it's there, you remember it, and you don't really remember too much about it afterward. Yeah, bottom line, Flipper ain't that great of a movie. So that's what I'm basically trying to say here. So that's Flipper. Let's go ahead and move on to the other movie that we have here, and that is Alec Baldwin in Heaven's Prisoners.
My bestseller, a deadly accident, a ruthless cover-up, an ex-cop drawn into a mystery that could cost him more than his life. Alec Baldwin, Terry Hatcher, Heaven's Prisoners, rated R.
Yeah, I can already see some of those Cajun accents that everybody has could get pretty old pretty quickly, and considering that this movie does not have a good reception on Rotten Tomatoes and has been largely forgotten since it's come out, chances are this movie probably isn't all that great. And I like watching Alec Baldwin in movies. It has just a good cast overall here. Not only Alec Baldwin, Mary Stuart Masterson, Kelly Lynch, Terry Hatcher, Eric Roberts, Vondie Curtis Hall is also in here. Just some notable names in here that actually are very good actors, but I just don't think the source material here was all that great whatsoever. Judging by the trailer that I see here, it's not really all that pleasing or all that engaging, honestly. It just feels like a story we've seen done over and over again. It's a film that maybe possibly could have had some potential there, but it just doesn't really deliver on what it could have promised there. And this writer, Scott Frank, is a very good writer and a good director too. I've seen a lot of his movies. He wrote and directed The Lookout, which is a very underrated Joseph Gordon-Levitt film. He did Walk Among the Tombstones, which is a very underrated Liam Neeson film. He's written some movies we talked about here, some good movies: Dead Again, Malice, Get Shorty, Little Man Tate. His next movie would probably be his best film, Out of Sight. And he also wrote Logan. He also wrote The Wolverine. So this guy is a solid writer. I just don't think there was enough there to really make this movie worth a watch, or this novel series, this is based on a novel series of this guy, of this detective Dave Robachek. I think that's how I'm pronouncing it. And there actually has been another movie about this character since this movie came out, In the Electric Mist, which actually stars Tommy Lee Jones in this role. I really don't know for sure about this character whatsoever. I never read the books before, so I don't really know which one was the better casted role. Was it Alec Baldwin in this or Tommy Lee Jones in that one? I'm guessing maybe Tommy Lee Jones, considering how that one got a better reception than this movie did. But like I said, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really say if it's great or not. So that's pretty much all I know about that one. That's Heaven's Prisoners. So on that note, we wrap up this edition of Time About the Movies. When we meet next time, it'll be Memorial Day weekend with 3 movies to look at, including Tom Cruise in the first Mission Impossible movie. Yeah, hard to believe this series is almost 30 years old, but the first Mission Impossible movie is one of the films we'll look at. We'll also look at Leslie Nielsen in the spoof comedy Spy Hard, and also A Modern Affair. So 3 movies to look at next time around. We'll delve into those on the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.